his field. He has worked with DART, BP, UNICEF, Patna University, and NCERT in various capacity for nearly 30 years. There are many research papers and books to his credit. Today, he will sharing with us his expert opinion on this topic. I think sir is joined from Shillong. Is it sir? Sir, hello, hello. We are able to see you on the screen, sir, but not able to listen you, sir. Your voice is not audible, sir.
Unmuting
Now
is.
it's
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I have
Please, sir.
heard I have heard the previous speakers, uh, and there are many takeaway points from their speech. Uh, I am enlightened by their speech. Uh, my understanding of this teaching and learning is little, uh, I mean, experience based, and
Yes.
I find that yes, uh, we have moved forward right from independence. We have achieved many milestones in our education system, and situation is not that gloomy also. If we look at the Radhakrishnan Commission or Modaliar Commission, and then the focus on the scientific temper in this country, so many changes took place. Many things in pedagogy, teaching learning process came up in our school and college university system. 66 was another milestone when Kothari Commission brought many changes. It was overhauling the entire system of education. It suggested many things on the part of teacher education, teachers, and classroom per se. The classroom activities, the classroom scenario, the classroom processes, and that was I think the fundamental landmark in the history of Indian education. So, Kothari Commission focused on the classroom processes. It opined that the future or the destination of the country is shaped in the classrooms. Now, yes, I agree with my previous speakers that the classroom I find is the crucible of the entire philosophy of education, the entire endeavors, the entire targets or destinations of education. It is the classroom. It is that furnace where all these goals and targets and mandates they are translated into the real actions and energy points into our children, and they get transformed. So classroom processes are very important, and that is what we call it as pedagogy. And in the school system, many changes. I mean, 68 policy, it brought the national scheme of education, and there are also the many underlying things about the teaching learning process was were there. 1975, the NCERT curriculum framework, and then the 86 policy. Uh, I mean, that was the time when this India was opening to uh, the electronic revolution, electronic revolution in this country, and that was during 80s, mid 80s, and that time this 86 policy came. And I mean, so technology started, I mean, education started acknowledging, identifying the strength of technology there. And yes, 86 policy also addressed many things. I mean, the social dimension of education was more focused there. The assessment process was more focused there. The universalization, uh, I mean, equity and the democratic aspect of education was taken into account. And again, 88 NCERT framework was based on that to achieve those things in a school education. Pedagogy was more focused in 86 policy. And in 92 also many new things brought into that, some reforms were brought into that, the policy. And 90, I find that it is a very important landmark divide in the history of Indian education and in the world education also, because 90 witnessed the universalization, the liberalization, the globalization processes, and many changes took place in the country, in every sphere of the country, as well as in the education system. And many mega projects with the help of international agencies and government of India and the state governments, uh, they were brought in, they were envisaged and implemented in this country. And the whole focus was the universalization, the access, the retention, the achievement, the quality thing which was brought up there. If we look at these three aspects, uh, the quality aspect, the equality aspect, the equity aspect, the access aspect, and if we look at this journey, and we have achieved a lot in this country. We have achieved many things, and so far as access is concerned, we can claim that almost 100% we have achieved in our education system, especially in school education, the primary education or elementary education. Now, yes, there are issues, but pedagogy also got changed. And then the learning without burden document came, and the quality issues, it took place. Now the classroom dimensions, the classroom interaction processes, it got changed. It got changed heavily. The concept of a teacher, the concept of a classroom, the concept of material, the understanding of a learner, the understanding of the objectives of education. All these things we underwent change, and we had new perceptions of all these things. So my understanding is that we have now new perceptions of all these things. If we look at the pedagogical journey there in the world and in the country, from the behavioristic approach to the uh, liberalism and the Paulo Freire's, and then the cognitivism, and then the cognitivism, and now the connectivism. Now we are here. Now, so this is the journey, and we have moved forward. And all these things, they have not come up in a vacuum. Worldwide, there are many researches done in the field of pedagogy. What works in the classroom, what does not work. Now they have understood in the world uh, what is important to do on the part of a teacher, and what is not so important to do on the part of a teacher to achieve the overall objectives of education, to develop the child into a complete human being. Many things are research based. Our understanding is research based. There are many meta analysis, and we have now a research based, informed understanding of our pedagogy. So the journey started, and by 2001, the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, many initiatives were taken up, and then by 2009, we had right to education. In between, in 2005, in a school education particularly, I am pointing out that we had a new policy document, the NCF 2005. And in that, many things were speculated, many things were given words, concretized, that what is a teacher, what is a teaching learning process, what is a technology, what is the role of technology, and what is a learner, what is learning context, and what is the role of education in the democratic society. So democracy was the buzzword, the constitutional values were the buzzwords, and the whole mandate was to bring democracy, to transform the uh, society, to transform the whole education system, to transform the systemic devices and processes in the school and university system, teacher education system, and the whole thing were very much underlined as a principle in 2005. And I think the process, the pedagogical process, which were underlined was the constructivism. And in that, they now the journey of pedagogy from transmission to transaction to transformation. I mean, it was a big jump, a big leap in the pedagogical teaching learning process. And it was also underlined that, yes, the role of technology is supportive in nature. The classroom processes, because I believe, and generally, most of the pedagogues and educationists, I mean, they also voice that there is no there cannot be a replacement of human interaction or the offline classroom processes, the real classroom processes. There cannot be replacement, substitute for these things. So our understanding about all these things became crystal clear, and the budge was the constructivism, where we believe that now the role of teacher is not uh, as a sage on the stage, but as a guide on the side, as a guide on the side. A teacher is a facilitator, a teacher who can analyze, synthesize, and evaluate things, create things. A teacher is not that, I mean, who can only transact, who can do something here and there and transact to deliver things. But a teacher has to be a co-learner. A teacher has to be a co-facilitator in the process of teaching and learning. A teacher has to be a manager in the teaching learning process. And the teaching learning process is not confined to teacher alone or textbook alone or classroom alone or the school alone, but there are many platforms, there are many occasions and opportunities where learning can take place. So learning is a very wide phenomenon, and learning can take place anywhere, any place, in any way, and by any means. So that was wide understanding of the process of learning, and it was not in a vacuum again. It was based, it was supported by many theories and many researches. The concept of learner also changed, and it was understood then, and by then I think it was very much clear, but it was documented in 2005 that learner is not the passive listener. A learner is the constructor of knowledge. He is a very active learner. He can take part in learning process. He can get involved in the process of learning, and out of that he can construct knowledge. And then many other things, the collaboration processes, the presentation processes, the level of understandings, different levels of understanding, and the construction of knowledge finally, and the whole transformation, through the reflective process of pedagogy, the whole process of transformation takes place in the child. The child becomes a totally transformed person uh, after going through this pedagogical processes, uh, through this kind of teaching learning processes. And through this child, when the child goes back to the society, I think the society gets transformed. All the constitutional dimensions, the equity, the equality, the justice, etc., etc., all those, the gender issues and other issues, the social issues, they will be redressed, they will be achieved through this kind of pedagogy. So pedagogy has the strength. This transformative pedagogy has the strength to achieve this social goals, the social dimension, and with this we can achieve the social goals, we can achieve the national goals, and we can compete with the changing world in the 21st century. So it was more or less to meet with the needs of global society, as well as having focus on our own context, bringing context into education, bringing context, the background of the child, the language of the child, the experience of the child, uh, and the context of the child into the process of teaching and learning and this transformation process. I mean, with this, uh, the local and global objectives of education, the complete transformation of human and human society was to be achieved. It was a big mandate, and it was thoroughly based on the research findings. And it was well understood, and the document was advanced, and throughout the country it was implemented by the states also. Of course, we have challenges in our country, education being in the concurrent list. We have different boards, different states, they have different education systems. So systemic problems are there, but we moved forward. And then right to education brought this whole concept. They included all these concepts into right to education. What should be the pedagogy? What should be the assessment process? The continuous and comprehensive evaluation, which flew from the 86 policy, the 2005 document underlined this. And so assessment also was completely changed. That was understood. So what should be the assessment? The assessment of learning and assessment for learning and assessment as learning. The whole thing, I mean, the assessment, and which was integrated with teaching learning process. The entire thing was brought into right to education. It began, this was another landmark in this country, the right to education. And this was given the right to each and every child of this country. So it was a big change, and we moved ahead. And accordingly, because teacher is the crucial factor in this teaching learning process. So we have to understand this pedagogy, the teaching learning process. And teacher is the main player in the classroom. Teacher is the main player behind achieving all these educational goals and understanding of education and pedagogy. So teacher preparation also underwent change, and in 2009, we new teacher education curriculum framework also came into existence. Again, some changes were brought in 2014 and 17. So it went on. But the whole philosophy of school education was the whole philosophy of pedagogy and teaching learning process, the constructivist approach, the cognitivism, the connectivism, all these things, they were brought in. And the teacher education, teacher preparation was also toned up to meet the requirement of the school education and classroom challenges. But the 21st century has another, it is seeing another revolution in the world, and we cannot be uh, away from this change. We cannot remain untouched with this digital revolution. So digital revolution is a new, not new thing. In 21st century, it has taken, it has, I mean, changed the entire world, and education system also, higher education as well as the school education system also. In the entire world, it has changed the scenario. It has enriched the education and pedagogical processes. It has helped in the outreach of education and new things. It has globalized. It has brought the international advancement in education and research in education to the doors of the world population. So it has a bigger role. This role cannot be denied. This role cannot. So digitalization, the digital revolution in the world in 21st century. I mean, it is no, it has taken place and it is well established. Now, but our understanding is, and throughout the world also, many of them they believe that this digital world cannot replace the classroom processes, the human interaction, and the offline processes in teaching learning processes. So it was considered as a supplementary mechanism. A supplementary mechanism. I do understand and believe that this online, though it has tremendous strength to enhance the quality, to enhance the outreach of education and pedagogy, but uh, it again has limitation, and it again has a limitation in a country like India, where I mean there is a little divide, digital divide. We have rural schools, we have government schools, we have many out of school children. We have many poor people in our country below poverty line. It's a big chunk. Many people don't have all these facilities. Still, yeah, we understand that. So we can have both the things together just to enrich and enhance the quality of education. But certainly it helps, and it is research based. It is research based. So there are different modes of teaching learning processes: the flipped learning, the blended mode of learning, etc., etc. They came up. When we look at the sustainable development goals for 21st century, uh, for a better world, in a better society in this world, and which we are a part of that. I think the sustainable development goals, they also believe that education is one of the tools, one of the instruments to achieve those sustainable goals for the better world, eco-friendly world, a human world, a very sensitive world, where we can live nicely, we can coexist, and we can have a better living standard. So, sustainable development goals, the goal number 4 talks about the quality of education. So, the buzz is the quality, and quality lies in the transaction process. Quality lies in the teaching learning process. I believe that the teaching learning process has the ability to transform the learner and to transform the society and transform the world. So everything begins from there, the transformative pedagogy. Transformative. In the transformative pedagogy, I think yes, this blended learning, the flipped learning, etc., and the many tools created by the technology, provided by the technology, they help. Now, what is the new understanding of pedagogy now? It's all connectivist. It's all connected. It's all collaboration. collaboration. And that was Vygotsky's principle also, zone of proximal development, when we try to understand. I mean, learning is rooted in the society. Learning is rooted in the group, learning lies in the social context. So, and we can create a virtual social context through this medium with the help of technology. We can bring the finest learning materials from different all over the world, from different sources to the classroom. We can design and develop and create many mm, uh, learning activities in the classroom through with the help of this online learning materials. And there can be many ways where the brainstorming session, the thinking process, the reflection process in the classroom, the whole internalization process of constructs and academic understanding and the values uh, and the whole purpose of education. I mean, to develop the entire domains of human personality, and to target the social requirements and social change and world meet the world requirements. I think this technology can help a lot. Now, this pandemic is a very sudden casualty. I think here this casualty has, of course, brought this, because in the vacuum we cannot leave the situation as it is. So we have to do something. We have to do something for that. For the time being, to have some alternative. Yes, it's okay, and but as a permanent resource and tool, technology has a big strength. Big strength. Blended learning has a big strength, and it is well founded, well established fact. It's research based. So many researches have been done on this blended mode and flipped learning and all, and they have shown the positive result. So it helps. It helps. And then this collaboration, the problem solving, this trans cultural mechanism, I think, and connecting with WhatsApp group and many other platforms are there where the interaction can take place. Vygotsky can come, Piaget can come, and the learning construction can take place. And it has added benefit in the sense that it gives the opportunity to the learners to take care of his or her own pace, or the learning style, or the I mean the to progress as per their ability, aptitude, and interest. So I mean, there are some added, but purely technology cannot help. Purely online education cannot help much, because the interaction has to take place, collaboration has to take place, teamwork has to take place, the project work has to take place, and the reflection, the collective reflection has to take place, the collective presentation has to take place, the collective churning of ideas in the classroom and in the group has to take place, to internalize more, to assimilate more, to transform the whole thing into the personality. I think this is where we have to take care of in this pandemic period, because many schools, many teachers, many apps, many tools, technological tools are in the market, and they are providing better education also. They are providing quality materials also. many CBSE or KVs and JNVs and even in Bihar, teachers of Bihar platform I have seen they are producing many materials online. Then there are many commercial products are also available, and each state is doing on its own. So these things are taking place, these things are there in the virtual world, and the access is also there. But again, this could be an alternative for the time being, and it can be an enrichment exercise for the classroom processes, classroom transaction, and the whole transformative pedagogy. That is what I believe, that pedagogy has to be transformative. Nothing can else achieve the basic aims of education, the which we formulate first, the curricular objectives which we formulate first. Nothing can achieve other than this teaching learning dynamics, and the changed role of a teacher, the changed understanding about the learner, the changed understanding about the learning processes, the changed understanding about the learning materials, etc., etc., with new insight and with new training and the skills we have to develop. Now, another thing is, yes, of course, we have social dimensions in 2019 draft education policy also. Yes, it has been pointed out that we have social dimension, fine, we have many dimensions of educational aims and objectives, but of course we cannot deny the economic dimensions also, because we have to be self-reliant, we have to be self-sufficient, and for that, yes, we have to have some skill development. We want to incorporate the skills also through these pedagogical, transformative pedagogical processes, so that we can apply our understanding, we can apply our knowledge for the sake of generating our livelihood, and for the sake of solving problems, and for the sake of uh, uh, creating new things in the world. So that application part is very much required, and for that, the skill development is also a focus, and a new draft policy also is a focus, and all these things can be achieved through this pedagogy and transformative pedagogy, the teaching learning processes in the classroom, and I think this technology can be a great help with all its tools and techniques and its facilities, its resources. It can be a great help, and it can enhance the classroom quality transaction, and it can bring this quality. It can it can help achieve the quality aspect of universal quality, equity aspect of teaching and learning, I mean education in our society. So this is my view on this mm, uh, teaching learning process in this pandemic period. Uh, this is an alternative only for the time being. It cannot be a permanent mechanism, but yes, for the time being, we have to have something for our students. We have to have something for our system, so that there cannot be big, huge gap which cannot be abridged uh, after the pandemic is over. So we have to do something, and for that, this mechanism is one way to help our students. But yes, both the offline and online can go together, it goes together, and they can create wonderful quality education, transformative pedagogy in the classroom process. Thank you very much for giving me this chance. Uh, Thank you all, the organizers and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you from the core of my heart, sir. Very intellectually, you shared the matter and reviewed the journey of teaching, learning, pedagogy before Kothari Commission till the date. And you covered all the dimensions, sir. Offline, I agreed, sir, that offline classes cannot be replaced with online classes. Technology cannot, as technology cannot replace the teacher, but technology could be the alternative only. Sir, you are right. Sir, one more thing I want to share, sir. Hello. Huh.
Yes, yes,
Sir, it is a matter of pride that to say that it is a coincidence that two of our faculty members, Dr. Upinder Kumar Singh and Ritesh Ranjan, sir, both were your student in PG department, Patna University,
yes,
Patna.
yes, 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 yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.